What is up, guys? I am Ascari Husky here today, and today we are back with the Fursuit interview series. Guys, let me just apologize real quick for not putting out any regular content by the time this stuff comes out. I totally intended on, possibly getting my suit sooner, but things happen. But we are back with the Fursuit interview series. Guys, this is the first one of Midwest Fur Fest 2018. Got the year right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So this is the first of MFF 2018, guys. Guys, this is our first fursuit interview of the con. I'm really excited for this. This guy is one hell of a fursuit dancer. If you don't know who he is, go check out his social media below. I'll have all of that stuff linked. But this guy is a fantastic dancer. I'll roll a clip. His wonderful name is Rahne.
Mm-hmm.
Got it, okay. So, Rahne is probably, in my opinion, one of the better dancers in the fandom. I remember last year you judged Floor Wars at MFF.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. How was that? How was it judging something like that? Like, we've only ever had one other fursuit dancer on the channel, like two others, but we haven't had like a judge. We've only had one other judge.
So it was It was the second time I'd ever judged anything competition-wise.
Really? What was the first?
The first time I did was TFF last year. I judged the dance competition. So judging Floor Wars is basically the same thing, but a little bit different because of the format. You have to make a split decision, a split-second decision, and you don't really have time to think about it.
Yeah, you can't sit there because don't you guys for the normal for the dance comps? Do you guys have a paper to be sure?
Yeah. We all have. Well, I don't know how all of them are, but for most of them, we have a sheet of paper that we can write our notes down and write down any of our thoughts, anything that comes to mind, and we can refer to that. Throughout the competition, but you still have to make a split decision on after the dance is done. Yeah. How you feel about it. Because if you don't make a decision and you have to come back to it, you're gonna forget what that dancer actually did. So, but Floor Wars is a little bit different because you have to make a decision right on the spot. So it's you don't really have time to think about it. So it's either this dancer or this team or this dancer and this team. If you don't like either, and if you're split, just do a draw. So that's what that is, and it's really tough judging Floor Wars too because there's so many good dancers out there. There's so many amazing dancers. I think half of them are better than me. But it's really tough to make sure that you're trying to be fair, and you also want to be unbiased as well. Because my favorite dancer will come out and do something, but maybe I don't feel like he did as good as I know he can do.
Yeah.
Or that I know that they can do. So I end up voting against them in a case like that because I know they can do better. But just because I know they didn't really bring it.
So how hard is it then to judge a dancer that you really like a dancer you either look up to or you watch a lot? How hard is that to judge?
And tremendously hard for me specifically because one of my favorite dancers, perhaps my favorite dancer right now, did go out and compete in Floor Wars last year.
And who might that be?
That was Strobes.
I was there to watch him. He's a hell of a dancer.
That was Strobes and Atsu. That was Strobes and Atsu versus Damage and Dalmi. And Damage is another one of my favorite dancers, immediately. Because he has such a unique style that no one else is doing. But Strobes is Strobes and Dory are my number one and number two.
Yeah.
So when Strobes goes out, I'm always excited to see what he does next. But when he and Atsu went last year, I felt like they weren't bringing the heat as much as I know they can do, specifically as Strobes himself. So they came down to a tiebreaker, actually, because they both did their rounds, and it came to a tiebreaker from the way we all voted the first time. Mm-hmm. And then I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, for that tiebreaker I cast the vote in favor of Damage and Dalmi because if I remember correctly, Damage was the one who did the winning tiebreaker battle, and what he did was it just really blew me away in terms of what I could expect to see from him as a dancer, because he's so good and he just really cleaned house. He just really cleaned house, and he won that thing kind of decisively for me. So even though Strobes is my number two in the whole fandom, it's like, you know, if he's not bringing it,
Yeah.
then, you know, I gotta be honest.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
as a judge, I can't afford to be biased.
All right. So while you're judging, so you said Floor Wars and an actual dance comp. So
Yeah.
when you're judging a dance comp, like if you don't mind me asking, like what are some of the things that you look for? What are the things you want people to do? Like, you know, like what are the things that make it more competitive and like just better to watch in order to get that person further or even win the competition?
For me, I mean, every judge is different. So every judge looks for different things.
Okay.
And I think that all depends on, you know, a specific judge's background and their experience as dancers themselves. Now, I mean, I've been dancing for a long time, and I have specific philosophies about dancing that, you know, probably, I don't know if any other dancer has, but when I go out there as a judge, I'm looking for, you know, execution and technique, you know, how well you respond to the music, how well you dance with the music, you know, if you're just dancing at the music versus dancing with the music.
Yeah.
If you can really, you know, sort of, this is going to sound pretentious, but if you can symbolize in a way to make the music like a part of you.
Instead of just the music as like.
Yeah.
I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, I know the popular thing to say is that, you know, you use the stage or that you had, you know, solid levels. And I think that's a little overrated, you know, stuff like that, because I think a performance can still be good whether or not you use the entire stage.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially if you're on a big elevated stage, you know,
like
that
MFF or AC.
like MFF or AC or FC or BLFC. I don't think you have to utilize that stage as much as just give a solid performance. Because if you're doing stuff that no one's ever seen you do, to me it's not going to matter if you use the stage or not, right? I mean, having levels is just to add more layers and complexity to the dancing itself. It doesn't mean that a dance that has no levels can't still be great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily think those things have to be are necessarily paramount. But I think someone who still has solid execution, who knows what they're doing, who knows their choreography, and who really responds well with the music, not at the music.
Okay.
That's the kind of stuff I look for, because that's the kind of stuff that I try to do as a dancer.
All right. So do you have like any advice for up and coming fursuit dancers, or maybe even dancers that like look up to you, or just any advice for fursuit dancers in general?
Gosh, that's a question I get all the time. I have like so many things. But the biggest thing for me is specifically for newer dancers who may not have a lot of experience dancing, who may be like specifically new to dancing. You know, from what I see, and I saw this specifically at Anthem Northwest, you know, just a few weeks ago. A lot of people don't necessarily they don't know what's right. You know,
Yeah.
and that's how I felt when I got back into dancing in 2012. I started dancing, but I didn't really have any direction, any guidance, any way to know that what I was doing was right. I didn't know if the moves I was doing and trying to do, or the stuff that I was trying to do, was correct or accurate with the styles that I was trying to go for. So I think the biggest thing that people can do is to watch other dancers, and I mean watch them constantly. And I don't mean just in the fandom, I mean outside the fandom too. So watch other dancers, study other dancers, study their movements, study their performances, study dancers that you like. Like, find a dancer that you like, watch their dances, watch your favorite performances that they've given on stage, and figure out why you like that dance. Like, study it, analyze it, figure out why this move, you know, is good, or why this move is good. Figure out why, you know, why they do a certain move and do it here or do it there, or what's the purpose of them doing stuff like, what's the purpose of doing the moves that they're doing? Yeah. Right. And the more you look into that and study and realize and analyze why they're doing that, the more you'll start to pick up on what makes sense to you and what makes sense as a dancer, like performance-wise. And I think you should watch as many dances as possible to figure out, you know, what's out there and what appeals to you. And then when you figure out what appeals to you style-wise, I would say look up YouTube videos and tutorials, because there's billions of YouTube videos out there, like, as a resource. And if you're not utilizing that, it's a really a big shame because there's so much. It's such a huge.
Yeah,
valuable
you can
resource.
learn. You can learn just about everything over there.
Yeah, and that's how I taught myself. I'm basically self-taught. I've taken like a class here or there. Like I just took a dance class like literally this week. Like this is the first like actual dance class I've taken like maybe in 3 years. It was I went like from beginner to intermediate and advanced, like all in one day, within like span of like 3 hours. And that was I took that class on Monday, and it really helped. Like even as somebody who's been dancing for as long as I have, it really helped relearn my foundations, like with hip hop and popping specifically.
Yeah.
And like relearning the basics, and it never hurts to go back and relearn those foundations so that you always know that you're coming from a good spot. Because if your foundations are off, then your whole dance is probably going to be off.
Oh yeah.
So you want to make sure you always have the basics down, no matter how advanced you are, no matter how much you've been dancing.
That's probably the same advice I give people for photography too.
Right, exactly.
No matter what, just the basics is what matters the most.
Exactly, because everything you do comes from that.
Yeah.
So watch other dancers out of the fandom specifically. Watch as many dances as you can. Study their performances. Figure out what makes them good. Figure out why you like certain aspects of their dancing. And watch YouTube videos. Watch as many YouTube videos on dancing as possible. If you're a popper, if you're interested in popping, watch popping tutorials. If you're interested in locking, watch locking tutorials. If you're interested in breakdancing, watch tutorials on breakdancing. Don't watch just one video. Watch as many as you can.
Oh yeah.
And
just hours, binge it.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. And keep at it. Be consistent. And the biggest advice I can give is not just practice, but be patient. Because this is not gonna come overnight. If you just started dancing like a week ago or a month ago or even a year ago, no matter how much you watch videos and no matter how much you watch other dancers, if you're not practicing constantly, then this whole, the growth and evolution of your dance is not going to happen overnight. It really takes time. Like, it took a lot of time for me to get to where I am now. Oh, yeah. And even then, I still don't consider myself to be particularly great. So, and I mean, maybe that's just me just being humble, but like, I can look at my performances and point out, virtually every aspect that's wrong, or that I did wrong. Yeah,
and that's a good, honestly, that's a really good aspect to have too, because if you are able to find what's wrong and you personally know what you need to advance on your own without someone else telling you to do it, that means you're looking to progress. You don't think you're at your best. Mm-hmm. You're always looking to progress, meaning that you're going to get better, whether it be today, tomorrow, or next week.
Yeah, and I never want to stop getting better. I always want to be better. I feel like, I feel like I'm personally behind what a lot of dancers are doing. Like, I feel like I can look at a lot of dancers and say that, man, those guys are up on this level, and I've been dancing for this long, and I'm still like right here. So, I feel like the need to push myself is always there.
Of course.
Not only because there's a certain aspect of me that kind of feels behind, but also because I'm not satisfied with where I'm at. Like, I'm never satisfied with where I am as a dancer. I always want to be better. Like, I remember BLFC was a performance that I really, really liked when I debuted Hilo for the first time, and like everyone knew it was me. And I expected everyone to know it was me, because like I'm sure within 20 seconds of me being on the stage, virtually everyone could have pointed out, oh, that's Rahne. So, but I look at that performance and I'm virtually pretty happy with it. But there's so many things in there that could have been better. There's because every dance has highlights or like standout moments within those 2 minutes, because you only have 2 minutes to make something of yourself, to do something great. And the highlights that I see in that dance are like too few and far between. So, I want to just be better. I just want to be better. Right, so that's where I'm at.
All right. So let's start answering the questions now, guys. If this is your first Fursuit interview and you are wondering how these work, well, how these work is I will go to social media, primarily Twitter, post a photo, and then ask you to ask this wonderful Fursuiter questions. So you guys provided us with a ton of questions. So let's answer some of them. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I love answering questions. I've always wanted to do a Q&A, actually.
Alright guys, so we are going to answer some of these questions. The first one we have is by Midnight Wolf, or Midnight89, I think that's his full tag Twitter. Oh, Midnight89 Wolf, and that is, oh man, the spelling of your name versus how you actually say it. Fucks me up. I'm not gonna lie, because I was just about to say, Rain, nope, that's not right.
I can tell you the origin of that if you like.
Oh yeah, honestly, like, I'm actually kind of curious, because, like, I see it, and it's spelled R-A-H-N-E, and my brain goes Rahne or Rain or something like that, and it's just completely wrong, and I know that's not how you say it. So, like, I'm actually curious, what's the origin?
Is this going to be in the video?
Yeah, I could be in the video if you want.
So the origin of my name, no one knows this. And the origin of my name is, I'm a huge X-Men fan. I'm a massive fan of X-Men. I grew up watching X-Men. And I love superheroes, I love comic books, I love cartoons. So, when I was growing up, there was a cartoon, most of you probably know, it's called X-Men. But there was another one after that, in the early 90s, in the early 2000s, called X-Men Evolution, which came on, I think it came on WB. And that came on when I was a teenager, when I was like 13. And me being a huge X-Men fan, I immediately latched onto that and watched the hell out of that. There's a character on that show named Wolfsbane. She's a female lycanthrope, she's a female mutant with lycanthrope power, so she can turn into a wolf or a werewolf whenever she wants, pretty much on demand. Her real name is Rain, spelled R-A-H-N-E, the way I spell my name.
Yeah.
Now, there's a mistake in there, because the voice actor for Wolverine in that show, Scott McNeil, at the very beginning of an episode, he pronounced her name Rahne. And then I looked, and then I was doing the research for that show, and I came up with, I saw Ronnie's name, and I saw that she was this, I wanted to see what she was all about, and she was this, female wolf with lycanthrope powers. I said, that's fucking cool, and her name's Ronnie. That's fucking sick. So I immediately latched onto that. I just couldn't help it. I was like I was immediately
it's kind of cool.
Infatuated with that name
really
and the spelling of the name. Now the thing is, he pronounced it wrong though. Her name is actually Rain.
Rain, but
when I heard it, because he mispronounced it as Ronnie. So I thought that was cool. So if I had known at the time that her name was supposed to be Rain, I probably wouldn't have chosen that for myself.
Huh.
But when I heard Ronnie and I saw it spelled that way, I was like, that is so unique. That is so outstanding. That's incredible. I want that. So that is the origin of my name.
That is really fucking cool, actually.
Thank you.
So the first question we have on Twitter, we got at Midnight89 Wolf, and that is, Rahne, what got you into dancing in Fursuit? What is the best memory that you have while in suit? And do you have a song that when it comes on, you just have to jam, just jam to it,
Ooh, that's like 3 questions.
Yeah, 3 in 1, man.
Okay, what was the first one?
First one is, what got you into the Fursuit dancing?
Okay, so I have been dancing since I was a kid, actually, when I was a teenager, but I stopped when I was like 17. I didn't get back into dancing until like mid-2012, mid-2011. So I just moved back to California, back to San Jose actually, back to the Bay, back home. And I was at home, if I remember this correctly, I was at home and I came across videos of people dancing in Fursuit because I've been in the fandom since 2005.
Yeah.
So I came across videos, I don't know how I came across these videos, but I came across videos of between 2011 and 2012. I came across videos of specifically Tyser dancing in, I think it was at FC 2011, and I saw his dance at FWA 2012 in Eurofurence 2012. And now Tyser was somebody I'd been following for quite a while at that point because he had a One For All suit, and One For All at the time was my favorite fursuit maker. Like, hands down.
They used to be my favorite too.
At the time.
Yeah.
So like I was such a big fan of their suits, I was pretty much following like everything their fursuits did. And Tyson was one of my favorites because I loved that suit. So when I found out he was a dancer, I was like, holy shit, that's cool. But when I saw him perform, when I saw him dance, that like sparked my interest back into dancing in a huge way because I never thought I'd get back into dancing at all. I never had a reason to get back in. But when I saw him dance, I was like, oh, holy crap, one of my favorite suitors is an amazing dancer. And not only that, he made it look so easy. Like he the dancing he was doing was so incredible, and he made it look so easy in Fursuit, and I was like, how in the world is this possible? That's what sparked my interest back in the dancing. And at the time, I'd also seen videos of Four, Doryu, Mosey, Mangusu specifically, dancing too in those videos, and like watching all of that just really sparked my interest like more and more. But it wasn't until Anthrocon 2012. See, like, if you're talking to me, it's interesting because I'll tell you about dance history. I'll tell you about the history of the dance community. No one else will tell you that. But 2012, at least to me, when the whole Dancerfer thing really, really blew up. Like, from 2008 to 2011, it was, like, you know, a lot of amazing stuff happening in the Dancerfer community, a lot of growing, a lot of, like, starting up, and people just starting to take notice to what it was. But 2012 is when I feel it really, really blew up. When Atsu won first place at the dance competition at AC 2012, that really, like, I'd known him, and I watched him, I talked to him, because, like, he was the first person I talked to about dancing. He was the first person to actually give me a push to say, hey man, you can do this. Like, hey, you can definitely do this. There's no reason why you can't. I understand how nervous you are. I understand how terrified you are.
Alright, so sorry about that, guys. We're back. Room service had to, you know, I like live in my rooms at cons, but you were saying.
So, the first person to actually push me to actually do this, like after my interest was sparked by watching all those videos, first person to actually push me to do it and to give me some actual encouragement to tell me that I could do this was Atsu.
Okay.
Atsu Fox was the very first person to tell me, hey, yeah, you can do this, man. You can totally do this. You should do this. And he really opened the door for me and like welcomed me. Like he was the first one. Because I was so timid and so shy and so nervous back then. I still kind of am, actually. You put me in certain situations, I'll be hella nervous. But he was actually the very first person to ever see a video of me dancing, and I couldn't tell you how hard it was to film a video like that. For just to say, hey, can you tell me if this is good? 6 years ago in 2012. Yeah, he was the very first person. Now, the person who made me want to do this more than anything was Doryu. Because watching him, I've been watching him for a while, and he, like, I'd seen videos of Tyser, like, first. Like, Tyser was the very first person I saw. And, like, he sparked my interest, but, like, no one made me want to do it more than Doryu did, because I watched him, and he had a style that was so unique and so different from everyone else's. Like, as a hip-hop based dancer specifically, things he was doing with his isolations, with his angles, with the way he would transition from one move to another and just make it look super clean and super smooth. I'd never seen anyone else do something like that before in a fursuit.
Okay.
And it made me...
So that's like the person that just seriously got you into it. That's the one that, like, you know, was the spark to light the fire.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, Tyser was the very first person I saw, and so he's like immediately sparked my interest. So I could never discount, you know, him and what he brought, and you know the things that he was doing, and how much of an impact it had for me. But no one was more of a solid and like more of an inspiration than Doryu was. Doryu was like hands down my biggest inspiration because again, just the things he was doing, and the fact that. Like Doryu himself is such a positive, uplifting, and inspiring person. Like very, very, like more than anyone else I know. Like this person never gets down, never lets anything get to him. He always finds a way to see the brightness and the positivity of any situation, and like he made me believe I could do it. Like Atsu really encouraged me, you know, and talked to me and said, hey, you should totally do this. You should totally go for it. But no one made me feel like I actually could do it more than Doryu did. When he welcomed me, and when he, you know, just over the years, as you know, as a wonderful friend and a person who's guided me to where I am now, there's no one who's ever been more of a constant inspiration than him. Like all the way through, which is all the more reason why him judging my first dance competition was a fucking nightmare. Because he was one of the judges, and I could not have been more terrified. Because not only is it my first competition. You know, my favorite dancer is judging, so it was a little tough. But yeah. What was the other part of that question? So that was what got me into dancing. Because that's what got me into dancing.
Real quick.
Kian.
You're good.
Good.
You're good.
So that's what got me. That's what got me into dancing. What was the other part of that question?
Next part of the question was, what is your best memory while in suit?
My best memory.
Do you have a song that when it comes on, you just got jammed to it?
My best memory while in suit. That's a bit of a tougher one. My best memory in suit. That's a bit of a tougher one because I have a lot of memories in suit. I've been fursuiting for 6 years, but I want to say my go-to answer for this is usually winning first place at Further Confusion in 2016 because it's my home con. I've been going to FC. FC was the very first con I ever went to. I've been going since 2011. I've been to every single FC since then. I've never missed one. And when I won first place at the dance competition, like several months after getting this suit, I did not see that coming at all. I could not have ever pictured that happening because there were like 7 other dancers who gave really great performances that I thought could have easily been top 3.
Yeah.
I didn't really see myself in the top 3. So that was one. And the fact that Doryu and Diggy were running that competition, and then they called my name, and then Doryu like handed me the first place prize. Not only did I almost fall off the stage from shock, but I was like an emotional mess because here is a guy that I looked up to for years at that point. Like the guy I saw as my main inspiration. The place that I want to be. I want to be where he is. I want to do what he's doing. Here he is giving me the first place prize for the competition at our home con. And
so not only like was that like your first actual dance comp?
No.
No?
That was 2016.
Okay.
My first dance comp was Rainforest 2012.
Okay. Oh, Rainforest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Back when I was wearing Valentine.
Man.
No one remembers that. Well, I'm sure some people remember that. Remember me wearing dancing in Valentine. That was me. Don't watch that performance. But no, don't watch that performance. But yeah. So from 2012 to 2016, I'd been 2012 to from September 2012 to April 2015, I was dancing in Valentine.
Okay.
And then from RMFC, Rocky Mountain Furcon onward, from 2015, I was dancing in Rahne.
Okay.
So I got Rahne in 2015 for RMFC 2015 is where I debuted him, and then I wore Rahne for Rainforest, and then MFF, and then FC. The next month, and that's when I won first place.
Okay. So out of curiosity, how many dance comps have you been in?
Oh, from like 2012 to now?
Yeah. How many?
That's a lot. That's a tough question because I think I've been like I don't know. I think I've been like in over 30. I think.
Oh shit! And how many do you have placed in like top 3?
Do you count honorable mention?
What was that?
Do you count honorable mention?
Sure.
FWA 2015. Rocky Mountain Furcon 2015. Further Confusion 2016. What the hell else happened in 2016? Further Confusion 2018. Indie Furcon 2017.
I was at that con.
Yeah, Anthem Northwest 2017. Anthem Northwest this year. See, the funny thing is with Anthem Northwest, they did for the veteran category. There was only like 5 veteran dancers, and Rays won first place, but then they gave me honorable mention, which would have been second place. So I think those are all the ones, if I'm remembering correctly.
All right.
I think. Trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. Between all the competitions I've done with the Rahne, Valentine, Kilo, and any other suit I've danced in, I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, I think it's over 30.
Oh wow.
That's not necessarily a good thing because there are more bad performances than good, so the ratio is a little bit off.
Nothing wrong with that. So like the final part of this question is, and do you have a song that when it comes on you just like you just jam to it. It just gets you to, you know what I'm saying? Just get you to dance.
Ah, man, I have too many songs like that. I have way too many songs.
Yeah,
like that.
I know how that is. Trust me. Like, I can't dance, but there's some songs that like come on, and even if I'm in the car, I'll just like. I remember, you know that one Bruno Mars song, 24K?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember like that song used to come on in the car. Back when I worked retail, I'd be like in the fucking parking lot, just dancing in my car. People be like, "What?"
I mean, that's a tough question because for me, there are two types of songs. For me, there's one type of song where I can just like hype dancing to it, and it's like, you know, it's just You could be in a car or something, or I could be on stage or something, and like I might be playing one of those songs in my set when I'm DJing on stage, right? But I wouldn't necessarily dance to that song, not from a technical feat, because there's other songs that I dance to, right? And those are songs that have really, the dynamics of those songs are really wide and varied and complex and layered, and you know, your typical like electro house song is actually very repetitive. So the song structure of any typical electro or house song is like.
That's most EDM though.
Yeah, that's most EDM.
That's most any
EDM,
kind of electronic
but it's
music,
not the songs that I dance to in competitions. Never. Because the beat is a little too repetitive, and it makes it hard for me to vary up my movements if I'm dancing to basically the same thing. So you take a song like. What's a song I did? Whisper from Boombox Cartel. Both me and Doryu danced that song. So you take a song like that is not the beats and the way that song is structured. It's very complex. It's very very dynamic. There is no part where it's just the same thing over and over again. And when I hear stuff like that, it really allows me to really dig deep into it and like tear the song apart for what I can do, like movement-wise, for how I can respond to it with my body. So there's stuff like that. Now, I can do that with typical EDM songs if I'm on stage, like if I'm at the dances or the raves or something. Mm-hmm. But I can't do it for like an actual competition because it doesn't allow me to like dig deep and like tear the song apart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you take a song.
No, I get what you're saying. Some songs are just more for. I'm trying to put it like into words, like some of them are really good to dancing to, others not as much because they're so repetitive. So like trying to do different things. Just
my favorite song actually is Atlas by Jason Ross, because Jason Ross is my favorite DJ producer and he's trance. He's a trance guy. That's my favorite song, like hands down. But I would never dance that song for a dance competition, like never.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus like anything from like Flosstradamus or Boombox Cartel or, you know, Troy Boy. You know, I could take, you know, any one of their songs and just like rip it apart and like find different sections of the song to like do all sorts of moves to. But I could never do something like that from a song from Above and Beyond or Jason Ross or even Bluestone. As much as I love those, because those are my favorite DJs. Those are my favorite producers. They make my favorite music. But I can't use those songs to dance for competitions.
Makes sense.
So like one song, I guess, I don't know, Whisper by Boombox Cartel would be one. You know, Pony by Genuine, that's another one. That's a classic song. I don't know if I'd ever use that in a competition, but I've thought about it. What's that one song I did for FC? It's a remix by Lucian. I can't remember the name of that song for whatever reason. Trendsetter. The Lucian's remix of Trendsetter. That, you know, if I hear that song anywhere, I will just throw down hardcore. Because that's a song I used for the Confusion at 2016 to win first place. Another song is Major Laser's Lean On.
I know that one.
Yeah. And it's good because I danced for Diplo 2 years ago on stage.
Shit.
Yeah.
Did you really?
So here's the thing that I think this is another one of the questions. If I remember correctly, this is another one of the questions. I'll get into that later, but here I danced for the person who made that song, and it's one of my favorite songs. I can dance to it at any moment. So yeah.
All right. At Kane Dingo asks, why did you end up choosing Made for You as your maker?
Funny the way that worked out. So I originally I originally chose One for All, Scribble Fox. Now I'd met Scribble Fox twice, and he knew how much I loved his suits. He knew how much I adored his suits. But for anyone who knows One for All and who knows of their history, if you know of their history, then you can probably figure out why I didn't choose them. Because I see you nodding your head over there. But basically, they were taking a bit too long.
Yeah.
Because the original idea was I was gonna get Rahne done by Made For You. No, I was gonna get Rahne done by One for All, and an alternate version of Rahne done by Made For You. I was gonna get 2 suits.
Okay.
And I'm glad I didn't do that. But Scribble was just taking too long, and I started to see more and more of just him just taking too long with people. And I remember, I think the very last straw for me was, because I knew his history, but I didn't mind it. But the very last straw for me was, there was a friend of mine a long time ago who commissioned a One for All suit and was really excited. I think he waited I don't remember if he waited 2 years or 3 years. But when he finally got it, after waiting all that time, the suit was too big.
Oh.
So it's not only did you make him wait for all that time and all that long, you can't even get it to him correctly.
Yeah.
So it's at a certain point, I just can't support that. So,
yeah.
And at the very same time, on the other hand, Cyber is over here with Made For You doing all this wonderful stuff. She was putting out consistently wonderful suits.
She's a hell of a maker.
After another, she was crapping them out. It's one here we go, one here we go, one here we go, and they all look amazing. They all look amazing.
They're one of, in my opinion, they're definitely one of the better makers in the fandom.
At that point, she had become my favorite maker. At some point in 2014, I just sat down and said, okay, that's my favorite.
So how long have you? Oh, I dropped my phone. How long have you had this suit for? Oh, thank you. So how long have you had this suit for?
Rahne just turned 3 back in July.
Okay.
So I've had the suit for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
And I just got Hilo this year, the beginning of this year in January. So Made For You made my new fursuit as well. But I went with them because they were my favorite fursuit maker, and they were doing things. I love the style that Cyber does with her suits just more than anyone else. Hands down. Because I'm very picky with my makers. I love fursuits. I adore fursuits. And I have a lot of favorite makers. Mixed Candy is wonderful, Lacey is amazing, Phoenix is great, DHC is, amazing. But no one really there's no style that I took to more than Made For You. Just with the way their heads look, the quality of their suits, and specifically the vision. The vision is paramount for me, specifically because I have a really bad. I have to wear glasses, really strong glasses, and since I'm in suit, I have to wear contacts. So vision's a really tough thing for me. Because if I don't have contacts, I can't see. If I didn't wear my contacts right now, I could not dance. I could not do anything.
Really?
So no, really. I have a very strong prescription.
Wow.
And I've had that all my life.
Wow.
So that was one of the toughest things figuring out. When I first got Valentine, is okay, what am I gonna do? Do I have to wear contacts? I figured it out really quick. I couldn't wear glasses in fursuit. That's a really bad idea. So vision's a big thing for me, and Made For You from top to bottom really is just solid. From the quality and the style specifically, yeah, it really just did it for me. And the fact that they were doing things that no one else was doing, the kind of outrageous. There was some. She back then she was doing a lot of outrageous stuff, really bright colors, a lot of neon stuff, a lot of stuff that you wouldn't see other makers doing. Because a lot of other makers were sort of grounded. Well, maybe DHC wasn't as much, but no one was doing this as much as Made For You was. Her suits really stood out because of the colors, the color patterns, and her style specifically, and it just made me gravitate toward it. And the way she does feet specifically, that really is that looks perfect. I could dance in those, because a lot of people make feet that you can't dance in. Now, whether they're just using shoes or slippers from the way they make their fursuit feet, I don't know, maybe that's just them. But I don't know, Cyber for me just owned it. And I think it was the fact that my favorite fursuit she'd done at that point was this black and red wolf called Shadowheart.
Okay.
Who's also a good friend of mine. And I was wondering if Cyber could like do an alternate version of Rahne, sort of partially inspired by him, by the design she made for him, and she did. But what she actually did was she took my reference, the ref sheet I gave to her from Shibumaru, and like redid the entire thing. Like these light blue fingers were not there. These light blue toes were not there. The light blue stuff on the face was not there. What else was not there? The chest. Well, you can't even see my chest now, but the chest, the V on my chest was not there. So all these little things that she added to make Rahne better than I could have ever imagined, you know, just really solidified it for me and saying, holy crap, I made the perfect decision. I don't think I could have given anyone else my ref sheet and come up with something looking as good as this. So that's why I chose Mace because they, at that point, they had me more excited to get it first than anyone else, especially One For All. So what I'd actually done was I got to a certain point where I was like, this is enough. So I got a refund from One For All for my deposit, and then I threw it over to Mateview.
All right, and then this wonderful creation came about.
I remember giving Mateview my deposit in December 2014, a week after MFF, and then I got this guy in July, like
pretty good.
A week before RMFC. Yeah.
All right, so the final question of this interview, and thank you guys for watching so much, is by TK or at Troublesome Kitty, and that is, please tell us about your fursona and why you chose it.
This goes back to how I came up with the name. How I came up with the name Rahne, which was just by watching X-Men Evolution. Now, this specifically, I came up with, well, I didn't come up with the design you see now, but the original idea of Rahne was I'm very fond of blue. I love blue. Light blue is my favorite color. And if we're in a fantasy land where we can choose our ideal animal self to be anything we want, for me, blue has to be there. So I wanted Rahne to stand out among the sea of all these other personas, which is why why you have the pattern on the muzzle, this fire-like pattern that I came up with like maybe back in 2007. Or maybe I came up with this in 2006. I can't remember.
Wow.
I think it was 2007. Because no one else has something like this. But and I just wanted to stand out. I just wanted to have, and I like the sort of fox pattern, the typical fox pattern. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So I went with that too. Just varying up a few differences. So that's kind of why I settled on that, because I knew it had to be a wolf, because wolf always felt right to me, because I love dogs. I grew up loving dogs. I used to be a dog trainer.
Okay.
Before I moved into the medical field, because I work in the emergency room now.
Oh, okay.
But I used to be a dog trainer for 3 years, and I just loved animals. I love dogs, but I've always loved wolves. The wolves have always kind of fascinated me. So when it came time to choose a persona, I was like, oh, it has to be a wolf. And name, Rahne sounds perfect, because, Rahne. And blue is my favorite color. So
it just all worked out.
It all just came together pretty easily. Now this design, the way Rahne looks now, that was Cyber's doing. That was all Cyber's doing when it came time to make my suit, because one thing that she's really big on is artistic freedom. So when you tell her she can do artistic freedom, her imagination is just amazing, because she can do things with your persona that you would never even think of. And that's what she did with Rahne, because I never imagined having light blue fingers, light blue toes, or just light blue on the muzzle here, and she really just outdid him in ways that I never even thought possible. So that's how he came to be where he is now. That's mainly my doing, but the finishing touches are all Cyber's doing.
All right, it's actually kind of cool. Well, is there anything left that you any advice, anything you want to tell people?
Any advice? Well, there was another question that someone asked that I wanted to touch on, but we didn't get to.
Let's see. What was it?
It was the one about the festivals.
Oh, yeah. Where is it? festivals?
Yeah.
Blaze Collie, I know what that is too. So, actually, guys, we have one more question that I think would, he thinks would be cool to answer. I think would be actually interesting as well, and that is by @Blaze Collie, and that is why Wolf though? And how did you get started? Or how did you get started into like dancing at EDM festivals?
Well, I already answered the first part.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
how did I get started dancing? This is my favorite question. This is like my favorite thing to talk about, actually. So, 2 years ago, I saw that Diplo was coming to perform at my hometown, and where I live, and I got the crazy idea to email them and say, hey. I was wondering if I could perhaps dance for Diplo. Wild question. Why the hell would they let me do that? Why on earth? Who the hell is this kid? Why is he messaging me? Why is he emailing me to answer these dumb questions? I'm wondering if I could dance for Diplo. I'm a dancer and I wear this costume. I do this. I do these things. Let me know what you think because I think it would be really cool. Dude, this was a promoter of the show, or that production company. Dude emails me, I don't even know how quickly he emailed was. I think it was within a day.
Oh, shit.
And says, oh my God, we would love to have you dance. Call me and we'll work this out. And I said, holy shit, is he for real? So I called him, and we talked about it, and it was gonna happen, it was a thing. Now, leading up to the actual concert, me dancing for Diplo, it didn't actually happen that way. Because leading up to it, there were 3 acts. There was Loud Pack, well actually there was 4, but there was Loud Pack, there was RL Grime, and there was Diplo, the main show. Mm-hmm. Now, they said I could dance for Loud Pack. RL Grime was like a flat no. Mm-hmm. Diplo was like a maybe, but they had to ask his management, and they could not get back to us to give us an answer in time for the show. So the ultimate answer for Diplo was no. So I was only supposed to go up there and dance for Loud Pack. Now, I got to the show, a friend of mine and I arrive at the show, at the concert, and we meet Loud Pack backstage. I'm freaking out because I just met Loud Pack. These guys who I love. I love these guys. And they're totally cool with me dancing on stage. So like when the show happens, when one of them, when Kenny, is on stage because I'm backstage. When he gives a signal and says does this, I went out on stage with a friend of mine and we just start. Another friend of mine who's wearing Valentine. So I'm wearing Rahne. He's wearing Valentine. So we just start dancing on stage and people fucking lose their minds. And we do this like I think 2 or 3 times. And it's just awesome. It's fun. It's just, I'm thriving. And I can't believe I just danced for Loud Pack, right? So then they're set and then we're just watching. I'm just backstage watching RL Grime perform, and he's good. He's awesome. He's awesome. And he's the first person to ever tell me to dap, to do this. Mm-hmm. I had never done this bullshit until RL Grime himself, this legendary fucking DJ producer, this trap guy says, hey, you should do this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, are you kidding me? But it's RL Grime, so I'm not gonna tell him no. So he just does. So I do it. But so I'm watching him backstage, and I'm still in Fursuit, mind you. And then this guy shows up behind me, and he's like really peculiar and interested that there's this giant blue wolf in front of him. So he starts freaking out, and then I turn around, and then I see him, and it's Diplo. Oh, shit. So I start freaking out, and then we're freaking out at each other. And I can't even get the words out to say what I want to say to him. Before I know it, he wants me to start dancing right then and there. He wants to do a mock dance battle with me right then and there backstage. So we do, and it's great. He took his phone and passed it to one of his buddies, and this is all in his Snapchat stories. So we're dancing, doing a mock battle event behind stage. It's great. And I tell him, dude, I love you so much. I wish I could dance for you, man, on stage. And he's like, you want to dance for me? Dude, absolutely you can dance for me. Are you fucking kidding me? I want you on stage when I go out there. And it's like, wow. Fuck his management giving us an answer. The guy himself wants me to dance for him. So, okay, so we did. And, when I go on stage for him, I thought going on stage for RL Grime, for Loud Pack was great, but doing it for Diplo was on a whole another level. I'd never heard so many people cheer for me like that, or cheer for him like that, but that was great. And I would go out for him like maybe 5-6 times, and there were times where we were on stage together, and he would like have the Alaska flag and he'd be holding it, and then he'd give it to me. So then I'd be waving it around and stuff. So that was cool. So that whole experience led to me being, like right after that, I wanted to make a thing out of this. So I started applying to dance at festivals for artists as well. And the very first one to take me in was Imagine Festival down in Atlanta. And it was funny because I was actually past the deadline to apply as a performer. But the performer coordinator loved my suit so much. It's like, oh my God, yes, please. So she accepted me, and it really blew my mind. So, and then that was a really big thing for me in 2016. So I went down there, and I got to dance for, oh my God, like maybe a dozen artists. I danced first, and I hyped, like not on stage for most of them, but in the pit, because in between the stage and the barricade where the crowd is, there's a section called the pit.
Yeah.
Right, and I was dancing and hyping for most of the artists in there. So I was doing that for Steve Angelo, for Showtech, for Blau.
I know a lot of these names.
For
yeah, that's fucking
for
cool.
Oh God, it was like at least a dozen. So I can't remember everyone that I did for. But for Dylan Francis as well. I was actually on stage for Dylan Francis. I was on the second stage because the main stage. This is a big production, so the main stage was like the stage itself, and then the side stage over here, and then the side stage over here. I was on the second one for Dylan Francis, and I was like lit up with these LED lights, and these spotlights focused on me. So like so all you have to do is just look up and you see this giant wolf on the stage, and it's fucking crazy. So there was that, and this festival had like multiple stages. So the Disco Inferno stage, which was smaller, but just still banging and still hot. That's where I met Artie, and Artie was like one of my top 5 favorite DJ producers. I danced for him, and that pit is a lot more open, so I can go pretty crazy there. And like when he got off stage, he met me, and I lost my mind because dude was so into my suit and was so into my dancing. The dude was fucking petting me. He couldn't get over it. He wanted to take a picture so badly, and it was dark, so I didn't actually know he wanted to take a picture, but I didn't get to do that. But he has my business card, so it's all good. But I just simply I got to do that by applying, and by like sending out feelers. So when you're trying to make something of yourself and trying to do something like as a dancer, at least the way I do secure gigs is to like find whatever information you can about the event or festival and reach out to the right person, to reach out to the right people. Usually the promoter or the people who work for the production company, not usually the festival itself. But you find the right person and you tell them who you are and what you want to do, and you tell them what you have done, they tend to respond positively to that, depending on how you approach them. And that's how I've been doing this. So I've been at the Imagine Festival twice, and I also like now at home. I know that same promoter that I worked with to be on stage for Diplo, he brought me back this year for Adventure Club, and I also danced for Adventure Club at the festival too, and at Imagine. So I danced for them twice.
That is really cool.
It's pretty.
Holy shit, man, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Now that earlier question I got, like, what is my favorite memory in Fursuit? If it wasn't winning first place at FC 2016, it would have been dancing for Artie at Imagine Festival 2016. That would have been my greatest experience because it was the first time I was like exposed as a fursuiter to an entirely non-furry audience, and that entire weekend, like I typically like call that the greatest weekend of my life because I'd never had more fun, and I was with furries who were with me too. Like some of my closest friends were with me for that event. And meeting Artie, someone who like I adore as a producer and a DJ, I never thought I'd get to fucking meet that dude. But like he's so fucking adorable. He's so cute. But meeting him and like him being into my dancing, him being into my suit, fucking petting me and stuff. That was like, the most surreal thing I'd ever experienced. And I never thought any of this would be possible.
That's fucking cool, man. Like, genuinely, I don't even know what to say. That is cool.
Thank you, man. But like, it's just, meeting all these artists and like dancing with them, it's a very, very wild ride, and I don't take it for granted. Because no other fursuiter gets to do this. So I really, embrace it and I cherish it because it's not an easy thing to do. It's not. I mean, it's an easy thing to apply to them if you know how to do it, if you know how to get in. But once you're there, like the anxiety I have is like tremendous because I'm always afraid I'm gonna get the wrong reaction from like, you know, all the non-furries there. Because I'm not gonna see, and I'm not gonna crowded sea of like 50,000 people, like far bigger than any fucking furry convention, right? But like it's so positive because I run into like thousands of people and they're all super into it. Like they're all like, oh, let me get a picture with that dude, or let me get a picture of that dude. I remember when I went to Electric Zoo this year, which is the biggest festival I've been to, and I went there in Hilo. I was so afraid of the reaction I'd get because it's not Rahne, it's Hilo that I'm wearing, and I'm not performing. So one festival I've gone to that I'm not performing at, I'm just going there just to dance and just to have fun. But like that, even more than when I was performing, people were like swarming me to get pictures of me and to get pictures with me because it's Electric Zoo. And like they can't believe there's actually an animal running around at the zoo. So it's like, oh my god, someone's actually here in a fucking costume. Someone like really embracing the whole theme of this festival. And you know, they're really into it. And the wonderful thing about that is, even though I wasn't performing, I still made like contacts and connections. Cause like, you remember how I told you that Jason Ross is like my favorite DJ producer? Yeah. I got to meet him.
Oh no shit.
I wasn't even performing. I just got to meet him. I never imagined that would happen. And Gabriel and Dresden, two other trance producers and DJs who I really love, they were like so into me that they followed me on Twitter, and we've been talking back and forth. They know who furries are, and they're like really curious about furries, and they liked my dancing so much, like just in the crowd, that they want to put me in a music video. So I was like, wow, holy crap! I don't even know what to say. So that's why their next album is something I'm like paying really close attention to because I might probably be in a video for it in the near future. So
awesome, man.
Yeah, so dancing at festivals, it's a really, really wonderful, special thing. And the biggest thing I've been trying to do is I've been trying to get other fursuiters to do it because I don't want to just do it by myself anymore. Yeah. I really want to show people that furries are awesome, that we have a lot to offer, that we're just this wonderful little creative community of a whole bunch of passion and stuff. So I've been trying to get other fursuit dancers to do it. And the best way to go about it is to like, research about, whatever event that you're interested in possibly performing for, and reach out to them, find out who to reach out to. Yeah. And just like, do it, just be genuine. Say I'm this, I do this. I was wondering if I could do this. And you reach out to you find the right person who can make the right decisions or point you into the right direction, you just might have broken that barrier. That's basically how I did it. And I've made a thing of it now, so where I usually perform locally at concerts at home, whether for Showdown Productions or ADK, or dancing at Imagine Festival, and I've done that twice, or any other festival I can get my hands on, because I audition for these things like crazy. But that's how I started. That's how I started doing it, and that's what I've been doing up to this point, outside the fandom.
Nice. Dude, that's really cool. That is like genuinely fucking awesome.
Thank you, man.
Like holy shit. So guys, this is definitely, in my opinion, one of the better interviews on this channel. Go check out this awesome fursuiter's social media. He's a hell of a dancer. Holy shit, man! That's some like awesome shit you've done. Like it's like I'm just sitting here. You're saying that I don't even know what to say. I'm just like I'm just staring at the wall like holy shit, holy shit. Nah, man, that's some really cool shit.
Wait until you see the videos.
Oh yeah, I want to fucking see that. But nah, man, that's fucking cool. Well, yeah. If you see this suitor around any cons, go say hi to him. He's an awesome guy. Like I said, go give him a follow on all the social media. Go show him nothing but just nothing but love, guys. Everything will be linked down below. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's it. Just if you're interested in dancing, keep at it. Don't let yourself get discouraged because it's easy to get discouraged. And you know what? Actually, one of the biggest things I want to say, ending this, is that if you are interested in dancing, and if you're a new dancer who just started, don't compare yourself to like other dancers. Don't compare yourself to like the big dancers. If you're inspired by Strobes or Atsu or Doryo or even me, don't compare yourself to where we are versus where you're starting, because it takes a lot of time to get to where we are.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of time to get to where someone like Strobes, is. And if you're inspired by someone like me or Doryu or Strobes or Atsu or anyone, just keep in mind, try not to compare yourself to them or to even to me, because it took a long time for me to get to where I am. It took a long time for them to get to where they are.
What the fuck is that?
Hello. How are you? I'm good. Good.
Oh, yeah, you bring him in. We're almost done. We're almost done.
Cool. It's nice and hot in here. Oh,
Hey, buddy.
hey. It is worse here than in the hallway. What's that?
Okay, so you have to cut this. What I'm saying is, if you're inspired by Doryu or Atsu or Strobes or even me, just try to keep in mind to not compare yourself to them or even to me, because it took a long time for me to get to where I am. It took them a long time to get to where they are. And I remember those days. I remember those early days where I used to struggle with dancing. When I found out how hard it was to dance in a fursuit, I remember those days. And it just takes time to get that good. So you're not going to be as good as Atsu or Doryu like that.
It doesn't happen overnight. It takes work. It takes work.
It takes a lot of work. So just be patient and practice, and don't get discouraged. It's easy to get discouraged, but don't let it happen to you. If you really have a passion for dancing, just keep at it. And I think that's it.
So guys, that's the end of this amazing interview. This guy is just fucking awesome. He has tons of awesome advice. He makes some amazing Twitter videos. He does have a YouTube, and we're going to try and fix that. We're going to try and get him posting more, because this guy's got some amazing advice. Go check out his stuff. It's nothing but positivity. It's awesome. Just go check him out. Go give him a follow and go show him some love. Guys, I'm Ascari Husky.
And I'm Rahne.
And I will see you all in the next video. We definitely got to do another video later this weekend.
Absolutely.
Holy shit.
Sounds good.
So what you said.